In this video, I'm going to be talking about something that a lot of us are striving to achieve. Beyond defeating the New World Order, the police state, surveillance society, the prospects of World War III, beyond that, we have another reality that's here now. Not out there, but here right now. Going beyond money in a world where they know they're destroying our economy, they're destroying jobs, they're destroying careers, in many cases, destroying lives and family. What does it mean to go beyond the fear of losing something? What's interesting about this is that our immune systems are drastically weakened. When we're afraid, when we're terrified, it has an impact on our body. You know, look at those hidden messages in water. You have love and its effect on the water molecule, and you have fear over here. It's like splat. It's like someone just took a tennis ball and, dipped it in paint and went boom. Well, that's fear, that's anger, that's hate. And so what we're looking at here is how, well, since we're, depending on your age, 80 to 90% water, how do our thoughts have an impact on our own body when we're afraid of losing something, afraid of going broke? There are many different concepts I want to bring up in this video and just let you think about them. There are people out there in our world, people like you, that don't have anything. And the interesting thing about this is we have to remember a couple things. If you don't have anything to lose, you got nothing to fear. And the fear I see in a lot of people's eyes is, well, from those that have something and they're losing it. The big home, the big mansion. You also have the fear coming from the people at the bottom because they're hurting even more than they were last year. And you're having a reality where a lot of people are going, am I even going to have a basic job to make a living and pay my rent when I get out of school? But to go beyond fear, I think in this case, for those of us that really have nothing more to lose, is to think about a new reality and actually create that reality through our own understanding of how to do that by seeing what we want in our own mind before it happens. We don't want to see ourselves in our own mind in a FEMA camp eating porridge, watching Obama on a flat screen TV. No, we don't want that. But we know they're making these plans and preparations, and horrific things are happening. It's skyrocketing, lots of violence and decadency on the TV, people being enslaved like flies to the spiderweb nature of the Federal Reserve. To go beyond money is to literally cut the ties that you have, in many cases, with the material world. And think about, how can I live without needing all these things? That's where you start. How do I start cutting back my budget? But that's just surface level. What we're getting at to is, with a lot of people losing their homes, and a lot of people not in the future being able to afford to pay the outrageous increase in food prices, we have a situation where we have to develop a new way to live. A whole new way to live. And I think city living is out and moving off the grid. That's in. That's what a lot of us want and want to see come to fruition. So that's my solution to this economic mess, because there's no end in sight at this point. It's going to continue, and they're already telling you it's going to take a couple years to turn around. They may be lying to you. They constantly push things back and push things back. In a couple of years, it could be full-on chaos. And that's why I think the military is being ready to deal with civil unrest, violence, enact martial law in the United States. So to go beyond money and think about a reality living off the grid with a community, that's a real resource. Having community, that's our way out. There's a lot of people are afraid here in Oregon. This is Oregon. There's a reason why people are moving here. People need to think outside the box of Portland, a city that's been visited many times by the federal government and Homeland Security doing their terror drills. But outside of the metro area here, where soon enough we'll have 2 million in the whole metro area, just a matter of time. We have mass exodus from other states right now. Moving here, lots of resources, lots of water. But what about Central Oregon? What about getting beyond our fears of living outside of the city, living naturally? When we can do that and start putting ourselves in the direction where we want in our own head, we then start to vibrate at a higher frequency. Our consciousness begins to change when we let go of a lot of that fear. And I know how I'm judged. My presentation, it's very intense, but the intention is to get people to think about not only why are things happening, but what are we going to do about it individually. So you're not going to get a free ride. You're not going to get a free meal. They're trying to program you right now to ask for a new world order, a world government. Get you sucked into the whole, give me some more entitlement mentality to thus create a bigger government. Well, that's a part of the problem. We've got to go back to basics. Basic community, fundamental living. Not as fundamentalists, but the fundamentals of life, of what it means to be a human. Having a connection with the food, having a connection with water, all of these things. So this is the year, not next or the year after that you really ought to be focused on this stuff, because we don't know how long we're going to have the web to do what we're doing the way that we're doing it. They want to have an internet too. The economy's breaking down. Things are getting rougher. But guess what? You and a couple people could still get a plot of land out in Central Oregon for about $750. I got a friend who would sell me a plot of land if I had $750. So if you do, email me. Let's go get it. But these things can be done. Hey, if people got the money to go out and buy new cars, to go out and spend a couple $100s at a fancy restaurant, some people do, then they also have the finances to take care of their wife, take care of their children. Some of these men out there don't, in my opinion, know what it really means to be a man. A lot of that's been removed from our society. They give you the phony man, phony masculinity, but what it really means to be a real human, to be self-sufficient, it's like a lost art. But there's a wake-up call that a lot of us are feeling, and so I suggest that you take a closer look at the things happening, and you start forecasting and looking at the trends, and you'll find out for yourself, not through me, what's going to be coming down the line. And so you need to look at your own region. What state am I in? Many people are watching this show or this clip on YouTube in the UK or in Europe. And so you're going to be facing similar challenges, but it's going to be slightly different. There's different sociological factors, social factors, cultural factors, different demographics. So you need to start taking a close look at your environment that you're in right now and whether that's going to be the best place for you when you need to learn how to live without money. And it is possible. So, like I said, it's a big focus on fear for a lot of us. Like, what am I going to eat? How am I going to pay my rent? But remember this. We won't be alone. There will be others going through the exact same thing. And there is power in numbers. There is power in the information that we are presenting here tonight. So I want you to remember that. It's going to be very interesting, isn't it? And we're all going to be here to see it. That's the funny thing. When you look at 2012 and things like that, don't react with fear. Take a look at all the information and make up your own mind. Because you have to make up your own mind. What are you going to look towards? The mainstream media for answers and their fear-based programming on 2012? Take a look at some of the information that I have created, the investigations I've done, the people I've had on the show, and look at the other side, the other perspective of what could be happening in 2012. And so, again, this comes down to going far beyond money to a whole different world. A new world without a new world order, and we're going to have to think about preparing for that so we're better equipped psychologically, physically, spiritually to deal with the future, which is not way out there, but in fact is already here. Future is now.